Ever notice how sprinting up a flight of stairs completely wrecks you, but just walking up those exact same stairs barely even makes you break a sweat?
Think about it. Whether you're walking or running, you're hauling the exact same mass, your own body, up the exact same vertical distance. In pure physics terms, the total physical work you're doing against gravity is perfectly identical in both cases. No difference at all. So why does one leave you gasping for air while the other is practically effortless? Well, the secret isn't in the amount of work, it's in a fundamental concept that drives everything from your own muscles to massive rocket engines. And that concept is power.
In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what power is scientifically, look at the simple formula behind it, figure out how to calculate it in real-world scenarios, and even show you how to estimate your own monthly energy bills.
So let's get right into the scientific definition. Power, which we denote with a capital P, is defined as the rate at which work is done, or the rate at which energy is expended. Now, the absolute keyword to lock onto here is rate. In physics, the moment you hear the word rate, you should imagine a stopwatch clicking on. We aren't just looking at the total chunk of energy being transferred. We really care about how incredibly fast that transfer is happening. Which brings us right to the formula. And it's beautifully simple. Power equals work divided by time. P equals W over T. So if you want to crank up your power, you've basically got two options. You either do more work overall, or you do that exact same amount of work, but in a much shorter window of time. It's this super direct mathematical rule that dictates the performance of literally every machine on Earth.
Now, since we measure work in joules and time in seconds, the standard unit for power is the joule per second. But we actually have a special name for this, the watt, named after the famous Scottish inventor James Watt. So 1 watt is exactly equal to 1 joule of energy being spent every single second. Whenever you look at a standard 60-watt light bulb, keep in mind what that rating actually means. That bulb is gobbling up 60 joules of electrical energy every single second it's switched on.
Okay, so bringing this back to our first question, why do you get out of breath so much faster when sprinting up those stairs if the total work is completely identical to walking? Well, by slashing the time it takes you to reach the top, you're drastically increasing the rate at which your body has to do that work. Sprinting demands a massively higher power output. You're basically forcing your body to act like a high-performance engine, just burning through fuel at lightning speed.
And speaking of engines, you've definitely heard of another famous unit of power, horsepower. For the record, 1 horsepower equals 746 watts. Biologically, this gets super fascinating. A human being can actually generate about 1 horsepower with their leg muscles, but there's a catch. We can only do it for very short bursts by rapidly burning through our available blood sugar and oxygen. A horse, on the other hand, can literally sustain a 1 horsepower output for hours on end. When a human burns up their immediate oxygen during a crazy high-power sprint, they hit the aerobic stage, which is exactly why you start breathing super heavily to metabolize more energy.
Let's look at example 1, calculating the power to climb stairs.
Let's actually map this out with some math to see how it works in practice. Picture a 60-kilogram woman. She starts from rest and just sprints up a 3-meter-high flight of stairs in exactly 3.5 seconds. By the time she hits the top step, she's moving at 2 meters per second. First up, we need to calculate the total work done. The work going into her mechanical energy is the sum of her kinetic energy, that's her forward movement, plus her potential energy, which is her elevation against gravity. If we plug in the standard physics formulas for kinetic and potential energy, we find she expands 120 joules just accelerating her body, but a massive 1764 joules fighting against gravity. The huge takeaway here: the vast majority of your energy on stairs goes into fighting gravity to climb, not just speeding up.
All right, so we take that total work, which adds up to 1,884 joules, and drop it right into our power formula. Power equals work divided by time. We divide by her sprint time of 3.5 seconds. And the result? Her useful power output comes out to 538 watts, which honestly is incredibly impressive. 538 watts is roughly 0.7 horsepower. She is literally outputting almost 3/4 of a horsepower just to sprint up those stairs. But like we talked about, she definitely couldn't sustain that level for very long. Let's zoom out for a second to really grasp the sheer scale of power out there in the universe. Right now, a person just resting quietly is still generating about 100 watts of power, mostly just as body heat. A typical car? That generates roughly 80,000 watts. But nature easily crushes human engineering. A single lightning bolt peaks at a staggering 2 trillion watts. It's wild, but the exact same power concepts apply across all these vastly different scales.
And then, on the extreme opposite end of the spectrum, think about a standard little pocket calculator. That thing runs on a minuscule 10 to the negative 3 watts. Just a microscopic fraction of a single watt. But the rule stays the same. Energy over time governs the raging lightning bolt, the sprinting woman, and that tiny calculator sitting on your desk.
But wait, here is a really crucial detail. Notice how in the car example I mentioned heat? Well, whenever energy is transferred from one form to another, it is never, ever 100% efficient. Some of it is always lost as thermal energy, or heat. Take an old-school incandescent light bulb. It consumes 60 watts of power, but it only produces about 5 watts of actual light. The remaining 55 watts are just entirely wasted as heat. It's the same on a huge scale. A 1,000 megawatt coal-fired power plant actually creates 1,500 megawatts of pure waste heat that has to be dumped into the environment through giant cooling towers. Efficiency is a really big deal.
Now let's look at example 2, calculating the cost of energy.
Let's tie this directly to your wallet. Because generating power requires burning through some kind of fuel, whether that's coal, solar energy, or the sandwich you just ate, we usually have to pay for it. If you look at your monthly utility bill, you actually won't see joules or watts as the final measurement. You'll see something called a kilowatt-hour. This is really just a clever rearrangement of our power formula. If power equals energy divided by time, then it naturally follows that energy equals power multiplied by time. E equals P times T. So a kilowatt-hour is exactly what it sounds like. It's the total energy consumed when you run a 1 kilowatt device for 1 full hour. It's just a much more practical way to measure everyday household appliances.
Let's calculate a real-life energy bill. Say you have a desktop computer that uses 200 watts, which is 0.200 kilowatts. And let's say you use it for 6 hours a day, every day, for a standard 30-day month. First, find your total time. 6 hours a day times 30 days equals 180 total hours. Next, we multiply our power times our time to find the energy. 0.200 kilowatts multiplied by 180 hours gives us exactly 36.0 kilowatt-hours of energy consumed for that entire month.
So, if your local power company charges you an average of 12 cents per kilowatt-hour, the total cost for running that computer all month is exactly $4.32. This perfectly illustrates how energy costs scale up. It is a direct product of power and time. If you want to save money on your bill, you have to either reduce the power rating of the device, like upgrading to highly efficient LED light bulbs, or just reduce the time the appliance is actually switched on. Leaving a tiny low-power digital clock plugged in 24/7 is super cheap, but leaving a massive high-powered air conditioner on 24/7, that will absolutely bankrupt you.
Before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap of the big takeaways from today's explainer. First, power is simply the rate at which work is done, calculated as work divided by time. It's generally measured in watts or horsepower when we're talking about engines and motors. And on a practical level, the physical energy you consume at home is just power multiplied by time. So to save cash, you either cut down the power rating or cut down the time.
We've seen how physics defines power for everything from light bulbs and cars to the entire electrical grid. We even saw that the human body can briefly crank out an incredibly impressive 1 horsepower. But that really begs a fascinating question. Just how efficiently does the human body actually convert the food we eat into physical work? And what are the absolute hard biological limits of the human machine? Well, that is exactly what we are going to unpack in our next explainer on work, energy, and power in humans. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll